Good morning. It's almost lunchtime, but I'm leaving on, I think it's Tuesday, out of the River Ranch Resort. A little bit of money spent there. Tents spots are $30 a night during the week. I think weekends they go up, but $30. You get a good shower there, a nice bathhouse, and then last night I had a big old hamburger at the restaurant, which was great. And this morning, 2 other hikers with me, Long Hauler and Mick Fungi. What's up, Nate? Yeah, we were hanging out this morning at the little store there and drinking coffee and just talking. It was great, man. Great morning. That's one of the things about this experience, that as a person who likes to be alone, and generally it's my nature to kind of not hang out with people and just be on my own, bro. You know, I've had to, and it's one of the reasons I like doing this. I've learning to just, let people be people, make friends, and you find out that, hey, man, that was so cool hanging out with those guys. You make some good friends on the trail. I have a feeling too, you're gonna make friends that you're gonna keep for a lifetime. Both of those guys are really into hiking, and really they have that kind of spirit that I think hikers, very similar to what Nate was talking about, and as you guys follow my channel know that I'm into, which is boondocking and just living small, living out of your bus or your RV. Just can't sit still and love to travel and love to have a minimalistic life. That's what Nomadic Recovery is about. That's what it's trying to get across on this channel. It's not just about recovery from an alcoholic situation or drugs, but just getting back into nature. And it can be in a city park. Big Fungi and I had a discussion about this. Really resets you. It reconnects you to our natural environment. To my feeling, this is God's creation, and this is where you find Him much more easily. And you stop thinking about the things that you really don't need to be thinking about and are not truthfully important. Money and bills and careers and all the things that the modern man, really any man of history, seems to think is important that the world offers. But although we need to take care of ourselves, we need to take care of our loved ones, we all have to do that. The least amount of sacrificing this you can do while still maintaining those things that need to be done, better you're going to be off. Better off you're going to be mentally, psychologically, spiritually, and especially, and obviously physically too. So very important to get to the woods, which is my little slogan, which is, it's not groundbreaking. It's just get to the woods. Super important. It's much more important than most people think. And part of that get to the woods that happens on a through hike, especially, probably happens on a section hike or a shorter day hike or whatever, but really on a hike like this, part of the hike is not the hike, it's the people. I heard that said before, and I was like, yeah, whatever. I'm not going to talk to anybody. I'm just hiking. I want to be alone. And there's a lot of that's truth. I like to hike alone. But you also meet people who are of the same kind of gypsy spirit, same kind of can't sit still, love to explore, gotta be moving. That's kind of in all of us, through hikers, boondockers, schoolies, people who live out of their bus. And it is age irrelevant. There's young people, older people, elderly people, families. I mean, I've seen it all with that kind of spirit, and so it's good to hang out with people like that have same kind of spiritual need. Recognize their need to do this, and they do it. They arrange their lives around it. As Mick Fungi said, he had a reset. one day and just realize this is what I need to do. And I had that same reset a few years ago, about 6 years ago, something like that. And that's when I started this quest. Before I even knew what through hiking was, I just knew I was headed towards something, and I was not going to do the 9 to 5, check to check, save up for retirement and hope my body still works when I'm old and I don't die first so I can do a couple of things. That is a bad sale of a package of bad goods that everybody is kind of, for some reason, fooled into. We're taught that, you know. So my encouragement to you all is, if you're watching these videos, awesome. You know, thank you. I love to show you the things that I'm looking at. But more than that, to try and encourage you guys, if possible. Everybody's got a different situation, and it might take you a while. It took me 4 or 5 years to get my life in a place to be able to do this through hike right here. And I had to change a lot of things. But once you do have that reset, and I'm trying to tell you that everybody needs it, whether you know it or not. Once you do have a reset, you come out here and you realize you really only need what's in the back of my backpack there. You don't need much more to be fulfilled. Food and shelter and water, nature, and a healthy, good work to do. You know, hiking's one thing to do. You know, helping others is another great thing to do. Helping others while hiking. There's a lot of things you can do. And we all need to work, but man, it's good to meet good people. That's what this video is about, good people. And I've met quite a few people already, and I'm only 200, 300 miles in. So thanks, guys. Good river ranch visit. Appreciate you guys. I'm sure we'll hike again together. I hope so. All right, headed north. If I can get this thing to turn off, all right. We're on some kind of a dike here, crossing cow fields, or an old train trestle it might be. I'm wondering, but this is nice and peaceful. I don't mind this. I always think about those stories of sci-fi where 1,000, 2,000 years in the future, after men have been eradicated, old roads look like this, and you wonder what was here before. Nature takes back over. It's much better, isn't it, than a train running through here. Just so you don't think it's all woods and swamp and trees. It's a lot of road. This is a 5-mile section after River Ranch Resort. It's State Road 60. Lots of semis. It's hard on your feet, and it's slow because you got to keep you really got to pay attention here. So I'm gonna get off here a little bit. It's been super busy. This stretch is kind of quiet when I'm turning the film here, but here comes a bunch. So most people are probably unaware that there's hiking through here, and this is a real problem for this Florida trail. They need to get this figured out because way too much road walking in this thing, and it's not just the hardness on your feet. It is it's the traffic here, man. People, you get killed really easily. And I don't know what's best, but I always walk counter traffic flow so I can see what's coming. And you could walk there, and you do when you can, but it's so slow and uneven. You kind of try to want to get up here. Anyway, you can see that it could be dangerous. So, Florida Trail also has a lot of this. Crossing the Three Lakes, hopefully you can hear me in the wind. Three Lakes Wildlife Management, I think it's called. It's a section after River Ranch, a ways up, headed up there. This is the trail. I really like what this. First of all, this is kind of cool. Look at this big prairie savanna. There's a lot of this out here. I've been crossing over the last few days, and I did not realize Florida had this much prairie out here that's still not developed, and that's great. The other part that's cool is that this is the trail, so somebody's out here mowing this. I don't know what they're I'm trying to figure out what they're mowing it with, because this is bigger than a Dixie chopper type riding mower. It's like the size of a push mower. I feel sorry for the guy who cut this, if he really push mowed this or had some kind of really tiny tractor mower that came out here. But they do mow it and keep it down and preserved, and then of course people walk on it too, but you can tell it's cut. So, but very cool. I think this says a lot about Florida, that there is a lot of change in the landscape very quickly. Yesterday I walked through forests and really kind of wetlands with a big dike up there, and you know, you guys have seen the big swamp way down south. We got the canals with the sugar canes, and then you've got this prairie that I believe is naturally occurring. I did read that they preserve it as a prairie by burning it pretty often. Otherwise the oaks and the palms invade and it disappears over time. I don't know why they need to preserve it. I don't know if it's natural or not, but they're preserving it as this, as part of the wildlife management. So kind of cool. Most of the time it's dry. This is considered a dry prairie, that's what it's called. But that is also kind of a misnomer, because when it's in the wet season, this can get pretty wet in here, I'm sure, like all of Florida. But right now we're in the dry season, January, February, March. Florida gets our rains like all tropical kind of places in the summer, when those big storms come through every night. All right, headed out. Okay, we just left that prairie. Three lakes, or is it three lakes, three rivers? I don't know, three rivers? I don't know what it is. I'll note it here on the video. And then we just left that. This is the edge of the prairie, and we're walking this way, so we're coming into a nice little canopy here. Thought this might be a good thing to show everybody. Just to show you the transition in this. We walked that for about an hour. What time is it? Yeah, about an hour and a half. And here's where we are. Now this could break out into a prairie again, but this looks kind of nice. Sorry for the bouncing, I don't have a gimbal, so. And we're back in the oaks. Temperature just dropped like 10 degrees. That's crazy. Cool. Back in the jungle. If I were to describe the most consistent thing about Florida landscape, it's this palms mixed with oak, and sometimes palms mixed with pine. With the old oak trees here with the palms, is kind of the whole thing. You got a couple different types of palm. You got those tall ones, I don't know what they're called, but you've also got these shorter ones. And palmetto bushes. These are all kind of the same in here, I think. But you can see, yeah, I think that's a different type of palm. Maybe somebody can tell me, than say this shorter guy. But I could be wrong. This might just be a younger plant. I don't know. Anyway, it's a nice break to get out of the wind. It's cold today. It's probably only about 44 right now. And it was about 36 when I got up. I had to wait till I get some sunlight to break because it was just too cold. But in my case, as I've said on some of these other videos, I've got a 0-degree bag, which is really overkill for most Florida hiking. Nice tree, look at that old guy. Wow. These are some old trees in here. I love old trees. Something about it. Looking at something that is, you know, a seed dropped here probably before your great-grandfather was born or around that time. Anyway, 0-degree bag is too much for most days. Even in the winter here, it gets, you know, it's normally 60 degrees, it's 85 at noon. At night, it drops down around 70. But you do get these very cold fronts that come through all winter. And they'll kick that temperature down into the 20s sometimes if you're far enough north in Florida. And even down here, I'm about parallel with Clearwater, I think, inland. It's, you know, down to freezing. And then we had a really good wind at 27 mile an hour gusts. So that's pretty cold. And I had everything on in a 0-degree bag, and I was nice and warm, but wouldn't want to be in this stuff without something like that. So I've been carrying a slightly overkill bag, but I did love it last night. Tonight's supposed to be cold as well. There's a nice little prairie. All right, I think that's probably a good example of what we're dealing with. I like this. This reminds me of Africa or South America. A lot of South America, Argentina, southern Brazil looks like this with the grass and the palms and the jungle next to it. All right. Got off the prairie a little bit. It's getting really nice in here. This is why you come to do the trail. This reminds me of up near Tampa where I hike. I love Florida when it is left like it originally was. Watch where I'm walking. I'm trying to look through the camera here. About 52 degrees. It's perfect. A little chill, but not chilly enough to put a jacket on. It's just perfect. So I'm kind of hiking a little quick through here because once you get to an area that has a nice trail like that, you kind of feel like you want to make up some time because there's a lot of sections that don't have a nice trail. It takes some time. Like that prairie was it was nice, but those cut clumps of grass or ankle twisters, so you kind of have to take your time through there. This is a little quicker, but you also want to enjoy it. Really nice here. Let's just turn, and we turn. Like a little lawn out here. All right. This is in the Three Lakes. See the Three Lakes or Three Rivers? I'm sorry, I can't remember. I will post it on the video, but yeah. Wildlife management area. Nice big old tree right there. All right. This is alive, by the way. If you don't live in the South, this has got a couple names. Spanish moss is what most people call it. It's also called, I think, old man's beard. And it's a lichen of sorts that lands and plants itself on these trees lightly. And this is all pretty much alive. Now, we'll see a gator in here. A lot of birds. It's warmed up nicely. There they go. Over here. Swampy. I don't see them. I think it's a good place for them to be warming themselves. Maybe we'll find one. You could hear these guys half a mile away. That's why I turned the camera on. Oh, a lot of fishing. Holy cow. Can you see all those fish jumping? That's why they're all here. That's why they're all here. That means there's gators here too. And these little things are perfect for them. Terrifying. Oh well.